In today's Money Monday, we are talking about how financial mistakes can keep following you, sometimes into eternity. I know that sounds really scary, but lucky for you, we've got Kyle Winkfield from Finley Alexander to make sure that that does not happen to us. How are you?
I'm doing well, and how are you?
Good, good. It is a new year. We do not want to be making any financial mistakes. I remember last year, towards the end of the year, we were sort of talking about different icons and what happens after they passed. And one of those people was Prince, and he did not have a will when he died. And now it seems that his loved ones are paying the price for that decision because there was a multi-million-dollar penalty from the IRS. Can you tell us why that happened?
Well, number one, he didn't have a will or any kind of trust or estate plan set up. So everything went through probate. So all of a sudden, his entire estate and everything that he has goes under a microscope,
Hmm.
right? And when it gets in under a microscope, of course, his family then has to start hiring folks to go through the probate process. And they thought they got it right. And then when they turned in all the documentation, apparently they didn't get it right. And the IRS is starting to question, well, wait a second, how about this? And they came back and they're like, oh no, the estate's worth double. So now you all owe this much plus penalties because you didn't file. So
My
ouch,
goodness.
ouch. In Prince's case, I think more or less, if he had had an estate plan put together with a trust, more than just a will, a trust, because I mean, he had a tremendous estate. You don't have to be a multimillionaire like
Yeah.
he was to get audited. Okay. And so one of the things is if you had everything together, probate is when the courts and everybody gets to look at what you got. If it's automatically in your trust and estate plan that money or that property goes right to someone else, they never get a chance to look at
It's
it,
been
right?
allocated. And that
Right.
is what I was going to ask you. So if he had had a will or an estate plan in place, this wouldn't have happened, or for any of us, as long as we have that in place. I mean, we don't have Prince money, most of us, but if we have something in place, we don't have to worry about our loved ones going through this process after we pass.
Correct. I mean, Prince falls in an unfortunate category of wealthy people who have made estate plunders and disasters. I mean, the most prominent one was Elvis. And of course, his family, they had to hire people just like Prince's family, and his estate shrunk by like 70+%. And so I hope Prince's estate doesn't shrink by a large percentage, but once you get lawyers involved and the fees start going and stuff like that, I mean, the money's just going like this, and then you got to pay the IRS this much money and so forth and so on. So it can get pretty nasty. So having an estate plan beyond a will, and I think sometimes getting the right guidance, because a will is a wish. It's a more thought out wish, but that doesn't protect you from going through probate. And probate's when the courts and everybody get involved and they look at everything that you got. It's the action of getting the deceased property to the living. Whereas while you're alive, if you make that determination and you plan for it, you avoid probate. It goes to whoever or whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about that. Now, you still might have some estate tax at the federal level or the state level, or you might have an inheritance tax. So knowing what the difference between those two types of taxes are, if you're going to be subject to them based on the state you're in or you plan, that's where guidance really, really helps.
Okay, well, you know what? We're just going to go to you. You know we are.
We're having a webinar coming up on January 26th at 6:30 p.m. So when you go to the website, you can sign up and go and make your reservation for the webinar. I talk about the big three: taxes, legal, and income. If you can get those three squared away for you, you can have a pretty solid financial future without any financial anxiety.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And we'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay tuned.